If someone used an interest-based loan to obtain their degree, what do they need to do now to purify their wealth? So this person obviously got involved in haram, there's no doubt about it. To actually apply and then to utilize an interest-based loan is haram, whether it comes from a government body, whether it comes from a private institution or a bank or whatever. There's no doubt about it. This is the position of the vast majority of scholars. This is obviously applying to those folks who are following the normative position. Because yes, there are some individuals that go out to a scholar, a mufti who specializes in giving fatwa, that gives them the permission to do the haram because of their particular situation. I.e., it is deemed by some people to be an absolute necessity for them to go and be educated at the university level because of their scenario, whatever. They get the fatwa and they believe and they make it out to be that if they didn't go and get that degree, then they would be in a very difficult situation, supporting their family, etc., etc., etc. The theory is correct. There's no doubt that a fatwa can be given in extreme circumstances. The real question that it needs to be asked is that, is this an extreme circumstance? Is this, as we call, al-darura? And we know that in Islamic fiqh, or in usul, in the principles of fiqh, that al-darura, a necessity in the sharia, does overturn a haram in specific situations. The real question is that, is getting a degree in our current time a guaranteed job? I mean, more and more the evidence is stacking up against that idea, that you are more privileged for getting a degree, other than obviously dentistry or doctor or law or something like that. The vast majority of degrees don't lead to guaranteed income or better income. So even the premise for this fatwa is now becoming more doubtful. But I'm not talking about such a person. If they've got a fatwa, that's their problem, it's their burden to bear for asking for that fatwa, and for the scholar who gave them that fatwa. For the vast majority, this is something which is impermissible. A person should normally either consider other forms of education, or taking year out to work, or to wait for an Islamic alternative to become available, or to borrow money from halal sources. These are the other things that need to be done. Of course, it makes it more difficult, it's a bigger headache, and it might even lead to a major delay, but that of course will remove doubt. Now, if a person did go ahead though, now let's say person did use a haram loan, became the person that they wanted to be, or in the job that they are now, what do they do? Well, they're not going to end up paying anything extra because they've already paid extra. Right? But that's another question. Should they actually pay back the interest part of the loan? Well, if they are legally required to, then they need to, because of course if they don't, then they're going to become in greater problem, greater debt, greater interest charges, further fees, further bailiffs, further maybe even prison, whatever. So of course, if you've agreed to, and the harm is going to become bigger by not paying off the haram, then you need to pay off the haram. So is there extra to pay from an obligatory point of view? No. What are the actual actions? The first is to make Tawbah, proper Tawbah, and that's discussed in another video. What does Tawbah mean? But the conditions of Tawbah need to be fulfilled. It's a major sin and it needs to be repented for correctly. And then you're in recovery mode. So it doesn't matter what job you are or what position you're in, but recovery mode is to make sure that your good outweighs your bad. And so therefore, if you've done this kind of magnitude of sin, you've got to increase your good deeds. And that could be paying extra sadaqah by doing more good deeds of any nature, maybe using your job in a good in a sadaqah form as well, maybe not taking payment, voluntary sector, etc., etc. So it's about recovery, the getting rid of the sin. The purification can't happen anymore. You can't purify your job or your money because it was a contract, it was a transaction that was haram, not the money itself. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.